can you tell us about your relationship to Fela and the interview you had the chance to do in '96?
My relationship to Fela is one of an apprentice, sort of a mentor, someone who's really inspired me all my life. In fact, when I left Nigeria when I was 8 years old to go to school in the UK, I took a little tape of Fela on a micro cassette. I had a song called No Agreement. So I wanted to remember home, and Fela was the best way to remember home because he spoke in Yoruba sometimes, sang in Yoruba, and Pidgin English. And I got the chance to meet him later on in 1996, a year before he died. I had a friend who had a magazine, and they did an Africa issue, and they wondered if I could interview Fela. So I went to his house. I waited for a very, very long time. He didn't appear. I went back the next day. I went back like 4 times. Finally, he showed up, and I said I was a journalist. He didn't believe me, and I said, well, basically, my friend's doing this magazine. Can we have an interview? And he agreed to talk, and he talked for about 3 hours. I had like 20 questions. I asked the first question, and he just laughed. And then he started talking. He talked for 3 hours and answered all my questions. So basically, it was a really amazing meeting for me, as a personal meeting. As a musician, I learned a lot from him. He talked about science, talked about language, talked about religion, talked about films, talked about music, the kind of music he was making. At that time, he was indoors. He wasn't going out at all. Taught me about the things he was seeing, the spiritual world and everything. So I was very privileged to have that moment with him, just as on a personal level. And it turned out to be his last interview, apparently, because he died exactly a year after. So it was a very, very fundamental meeting for me. And it was a very fundamental interview because Fela normally in interviews, he was very relaxed, The fact that I was Yoruba and I spoke Yoruba, he could explain some things in Yoruba or in English. It allowed him to really explore all the topics he wanted to talk about. And we had a great, great conversation, and he really opened my mind up. So I was very, very privileged to have that opportunity to talk to Fela before he died.
And for someone like me who has no idea about Afrobeat, how would you explain to someone who don't know anything about Afrobeat?
I would say it's like a social, Afrobeat to me is like a social, it's a revolutionary social form of education, basically. We listen to the music, Fela talks, he uses music as an educational tool. How to comment about society, how to comment about politics. It's like a social educational tool. So Afrobeat is basically like a musical political movement that he made, and so that's the sort of literal definition. Musically, it's like a mixture of jazz, blues, Yoruba, Hausa, children's songs, religious songs, church music, classical music. He mixed all these things together to create this form called Afrobeat. So it's on many levels, but basically Afrobeat is essentially our form of social revolutionary music. Yeah? All right. Cool.